Hello, my amiable students. In this first module, we'll be looking at climate and climatic types as part of our revision to help us to understand climate data and climate change. In this module, we are going to be looking at the major climatic belts and types that are globally found in the world. We are also going to look at their features as well as places where they are found. In this module, we'll be looking at climate. We said climate is the average weather condition for 35 years, taking into record collection and analytic measurement of all the elements in weather for a period of 25 to 35 years. So in the world, we have different climatic belts and different climatic types based on location or latitude, the inclination of the earth to the sun, as well as other factors like heat and water content in the areas. So what are the climatic belts in the world that we have globally? First, we have hot climates, which can either be tropical or subtropical. So the tropical climates that we have equatorial climate, monsoon climate, as well as continental or Sudan type of climate. Going up to the subtropical areas, between the subtropical area and the temperate region, we have the temperate weather, which has two subdivisions. First, we have the warm temperate climate, which is subdivided into three parts. We have the western margin or Mediterranean type, we have the continental or that can be found in the interior, and lastly we have the western margin of the temperate warm climate, which can be regarded as the China type. Moving down to the second type of temperate climate, we have cool temperate climate belt. In the cool temperate climate belt, we also have three subdivisions, which are one, the cool temperate western margin type of climate, which is regarded as the British type. We also have the interior type, or the one that can be found, which is regarded as the continental type, which can be found at the temperate interior of the cool area in the latitudes that are close to 45, 50, 60. Also, we have the last cool temperate climate, which is regarded as the cool temperate climate eastern margin, which is taken as the Laurentine type. Then, the last type of climate that we have at the extreme ends of the globe is the cold climate. Then the cold climate has two types, which is the subarctic type and the Arctic tundra or polar type. So the subarctic type is found in Siberia, Kola, and other areas within the peripheral or within the areas that are close to the polar regions in the Arctic or Antarctic belt. Then moving into the extreme part of the world, which is latitude 80 to 90 and 60 to 90 in the southern hemisphere, we have the polar climate. The polar climate is the last cold type of climate where we have permanent frosting condition or permanent frost condition due to ice that tend to gather in the place due to extreme cold temperature. But with the present condition of climate change, we have increase in thawing and increase in temperatures all around the world that is now leading to melting in ice condition. So the permanent frost condition tend to be reducing over time. So let's now look at the views of other authorities or the view of another professional in this area, so that we know how to group them differently whenever we are asked, because there are regions that are formulated or that are being demarcated by scientists or humans to help them deal with issues of weather and climate.
Hot summers in the Mediterranean. Spring, summer, fall, and winter in New York. Snowstorms in Greenland. And icy temperatures at the South Pole. The global climate can be divided into multiple zones. Here, a range of factors come into play. Among the most important is the sun. Depending on the position of the Earth relative to the sun, it heats the land and water more in some places and less in others. In this process, warm air rises while cold air sinks. This results in wind, water vapor, and rain clouds. All this contributes to climate distribution. There is a line around the center of our globe called the equator. The regions surrounding this line are the tropics. Since the sun's rays hit the Earth here almost straight on all year round, days are basically the same length and also just as warm whatever the season. Depending on the altitude, temperatures range between 50 and 0 degrees Celsius. The tropics are home to rainforests with lots of precipitation, where plants grow in abundance, as well as extremely dry regions, such as the savannas in Africa. Adjacent to the tropics are the subtropics. The summers are very hot, but the average temperature of the coldest month remains below 20 degrees Celsius. The subtropics include a number of deserts, as well as the Mediterranean region. Here the summer months are relatively dry, while in winter plenty of rain makes the landscapes flourish. And then there are also regions where every month brings scattered showers. Different plants flourish here at different times of the year. The temperate zone, which includes New York, is defined by the familiar seasons. Winters can be icy cold, with a maximum of 4 daylight hours in some areas. On the other hand, summers are pleasantly warm, with up to 16 hours of sunshine. This zone is primarily home to deciduous, coniferous, and mixed forests. With the subpolar zone, we move farther still from the equator. Sunlight hits the Earth at a very shallow angle here, which is why the days in summer can be extremely long. Temperatures are typically just above freezing, and there is lots of precipitation. By contrast, winter days are very short, and due to the polar easterly winds, really cold with low precipitation. In the subpolar regions, coniferous forests can still be found in some areas. The closer you get to the polar caps, the bleaker and colder it becomes. Now we are left with the polar zones, also known as cold deserts. At the North Pole is the Arctic, with lots of lowland. At the South Pole is Antarctica, with lots of mountains. Almost no plants grow in the polar zones because the conditions are far too poor. In the summer, it stays light throughout the day and night, while in the winter it remains dark for almost half a year. Temperatures rarely exceed 0 degrees Celsius. These climate zones can be divided further, such as into biomes or vegetation zones. The boundaries between climate zones are rather blurred. As a result of global warming, the zones are moving, making all regions warmer and drier. So it's possible that New York may eventually look like this in the future.